Chutes and Ladders, AEW 2024 Matches of the Year. Hey everyone, my name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Desiree Jason.
All right, we've reached this part of the year where we're going to grade out the best matches of 2024. Des, what are your initial thoughts when you put together your list?
I had a lot of repeat offenders.
Same here.
And I think we'll have they'll probably be ranked differently, but I think we'll have the same matches on there. So this won't be a shocker because we've had a handful of really awesome matches that we just can't stop talking about.
Yeah. Initial thoughts, same thing. There's going to be certain guys that are on this list more than once, but there were a lot of good matches. Some matches, if you actually look on based on various websites, some of the matches this year were actually graded as the greatest matches in AEW's history, and they're short history, but still, some of the matches this year have just been phenomenal.
Yep.
All right. So we're, like always, we have not seen each other's list. We're going to do one honorable mention and do a top five. Who's your honorable mention?
It's my only female match, and that is Toni Storm and Mariah May at All In London. And it's for the title match, and it was perfect to me. It was good in timing, a little bit of color, a little bit of drama, and I liked it. Mariah slapped her mother and actually used Tony's finisher to win. So it was great for that feud. So yeah.
I was very close to putting that on there. You know how much I love Mariah May. That being said, I didn't. There were so many matches this year that were just too much. I mean, in any other year, that probably would have made it. My honorable mentions actually be Will Ospreay versus MJF at All in 2024.
That's on my list.
Yeah. What's funny is the fact that this is outside the top five is kind of insanity. But some of the matches I had had so much sentiment. I actually put a little bit more value on sentiment because of, we'll talk about that as we go through this countdown, but that match was just, again, the fact that it in any other year, it could have been the best match of the year. So, and you have two superstars, by far the two guys carrying the company, in my humble opinion, but so that's what I got. So that being said, who is your number five?
It's going to be Sting's retirement match. At Revolution. And it's just out of respect. I love Sting. And this was really cool because he brought out his sons. It was a tag match with Darby against the Young Bucks. They, of course, everyone did a Stinger splash on everyone. Of course, there were some glass tables and a ladder involved. But it was really cool to see Sting in his element, and he did all of his classic moves. He did like a double Scorpion Death Drop on both Young Bucks, and then he ended in a submission with his Scorpion Deathlock, and I love him so much, so I could not put him on there.
That's on my list as well. All right, number five, and I'm going to do it just because, again, I just thought it really was so captivating. It was Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page. It was actually a Dynamite episode.
Yeah.
And it was so back and forth and just fun. We all knew this was Bryan Danielson's last year. So the fact that he was able to go up against all the big dogs, this match really stood out to me. So I actually put this at number five.
That was a good match.
All right. Who's your number four?
It's actually going to be Will Ospreay versus MJF at All In.
Okay.
So, I mean, like you said, it was top notch. Two very awesome competitors. And, it's MJF. And, that was when he was in his patriotic phase, wearing the red, white, and blue. And it was just really cool. It flowed really well. I know like the cameraman and the ref was knocked out. They had some really cool spots, but in the end, Will won. So it was a solid match.
Love it. Obviously that was on my honorable mention, so I think very highly of that match. Okay, my number four, funny enough, this is going to be on a Dynamite episode, but it was Hangman Page versus Swerve from Dynamite. Yeah, so that was my number four. This, again, you have two just phenomenal athletes. They set up the storyline really well. Funny enough that they put these on Dynamite as opposed to an actual pay-per-view, but
They're
hey,
so good.
it was so good. It was so good. I had to put them on there. But what's funny is I was actually doing some research with a lot of these matches. All these matches, their grades on these matches, like by other respectable websites. I mean, we're talking about 8.5 and up. Mm-hmm. All these matches. So I think, like I said, there's been so many of them. It's so hard to put this countdown together. That's why it was a lot of fun. So
Oh yeah.
Who's number 3?
My number 3, okay, so I rewatched it just a couple of days ago, and it had me questioning after I saw it. I was like, maybe this should be my number 1, because I was like, oh my God, this was so good. But it was with Will Ospreay versus Takeshita.
Okay.
At Revolution. They just blew me away. And what's great is they're both the same body size and strength, so they just work so well together. It just flowed. I was like, oh, this is like so liquid. It, like, their strikes and their just ability to fly and bounce, like literally they were just bouncing all over the ring, and they were counteract each other. And there was just one spot where Takeshita put him in like a vertical suplex, and then Will reversed it and like stunned him, and it was just insane. And what was cool is it was just they were just so strong. So yeah,
we nicknamed AEW as Athletic Elite Wrestling for a reason. Hats off to them. Hats off to them for booking some of these guys that have the similar skill sets to just kind of let them fly. And that was very close on my list as well. Again, we really could have had a top 20 if we wanted to.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 for me, Sting retirement match. You already touched on it. I mean, wow, sentimental value. Sting has been wrestling from the 80s, 90s, 2010, 2020, and now. So, I mean, come on. Like, you have to give him his due. Obviously, he brought it, just like everything you just said, as far as from the nostalgia factor and such like that. God bless you, Sting. Thank you so much for what you've done for us.
We love you so much.
All right. Number 2, who do you got?
This might be your number 1, but this one's my number 2. It's actually it may not be. Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland at All In. It was, like you said, it's his final year. It wasn't a secret, and Brie and his kids were there on the sideline. And what was great is the crowd was cheering for them both, and that crowd was popping the entire time. I rewatched it last night, and it was nonstop yelling, and it was just, it's great to see Bryan, and knowing his history of health and injuries, and him just going strike after strike, and so good. So yeah.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that match actually happened in Washington, and both wrestlers are actually from there. So yeah, the crowd was absolutely livid hot. It was white hot. I loved it. Yeah. So yes, it's on my list of my final 2. Here's the deal. I tried so hard to definitively put a number 1, and I couldn't do it. So
I knew you were going to do that.
It's a tie. Your background says it all. So 1A and 1B, I'm not going to say which one's A, which one's B, but Swerve versus Will Ospreay, Forbidden Door, 2024. And I had to put, and I had to put Bryan Danielson versus Swerve. That's as a number 1 as well. I tried so hard to split them up. I couldn't do it. And funny enough, apparently one of the websites I was reading, this is already graded out as the greatest match of all time of Bryan Danielson versus Swerve. So the fact that it was his final year, he went out on top. It was in Washington. Hats off to creative. We've knocked on creative from time to time for AEW, because that's what, we're going to shoot it straight. That's why we're shooting some ladders. But you have to give them respect and credit where it's due, and this match was absolutely one of them. Actually, both these matches were. So.
Oh, yeah. And so, I mean, I've said this in other episodes. I can't stop talking about it. My number 1 is Swerve and Will at Forbidden Door. I just rewatch it over and over. It's just non-stop. They are so great in the ring. They have such great chemistry, and they just feed off of each other. There's a couple of spots where Will does Hurricane Rana off the guardrail, and then Swerve does like a poison rana, and it's just they do their finishers, and then you're like, okay, they got this, and they would kick out, and it was just non-stop, so good, so much emotion. They're such great storytellers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They're just phenomenal.
Absolutely. Yes. Listen, that's why I couldn't make the decision of which one's going to be 1 and 2. So, yeah, 100%. And again, we're going to talk about some of these matches for years to come. That's what I genuinely believe.
These guys are amazing.
Absolutely. All right. That actually wraps up this episode. Join in on the fun. It's the end of 2024. What were your matches of the year? Please give us your list. DM us at the Chutes and Ladders. Like always, please like, share, and subscribe both on YouTube and Spotify. Once again, my name is Jason.
I'm Desiree Josen.
Okay, until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week.
Bye, friends.